This is what I said regarding the ending of 28 Years Later in my review of that film. And also, I think 28 Years Later has one of the absolute worst final scenes I have seen in a long time. So as you can see, I clearly hated that ending and the tone that it leaves you with, and I was afraid that the future film was going to take that tone. And having watched that future film, which is The Bone Temple, I am so glad they did not go that route, and what we got is even better. So 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple is the follow-up to 28 Years Later, which was released just a couple of months ago. It's a very simple film in essence of its structure. So it follows two characters. One is Dr. Kelson, played by Ralph Fiennes, who you also seen in the previous film. So he's kind of this doctor who is kind of building a bone temple. Like it's a temple out of skulls, you know, for all the people who've passed away. And so he's kind of building that structure, and he's like into weird science, and we follow his story. And in this film, he's basically trying to somewhat experiment on this one particular zombie that he names Samson. He's trying to get this zombie to turn back into something more human. And on the other hand, you have the story of Jimmy Crystal, who you've seen in the ending of the last film, and Spike, the young kid, is basically induced into his gang, and you go follow that gang around and look at all the atrocities that they're committing and the kind of weird, crazy, insane stuff that they go out and do. So these are the two stories, and they in the end converge. That's all the film structure is. It's very simple. It's nothing too out there or nothing too different. But what really works in the film is how interesting and how original the thoughts and ideas are, given that this is a zombie horror kind of a film, or at least it's disguised as a zombie horror film. It's not particularly that. It is a really grounded human drama that just happens to be set in a post-apocalyptic world. And that's what I loved about these 28 films, or I don't know what you call them, 28 years, weeks, days, whatever this franchise is. They're very, very human films. Like, they're really about humanity. They comment a lot about that. And they also have some fun with the genre. I mean, there are of course zombies there, but I think The Bone Temple is the film that features the least amount of zombies in any 28 Years Later film. Now, if you like the film, depends on how you react to that statement. Like, if you are okay with that fact, if you're like into more character driven narratives, then I think you're gonna love this film. But if you think that I need more zombie action, I need that kind of a thrill and like that kind of a pace, then I don't think you're gonna particularly like this one. So the best way to describe this film is like, if you have watched 28 Years Later, then the final act of that film, the kind of philosophical, very poetic kind of a narrative that it goes into, that's exactly this entire film. It has very entertaining moments. It has moments that are just like a burst of energy, but in general it's quite introspective in nature. It's quite philosophical in nature. So it's not your typical kind of a horror film. It's not a typical thriller. It's a very different kind of a film. It takes a lot of time to set these characters up, and these two characters really make the film for me. Jack O'Connell, the actor who plays Jimmy, is incredible. He is one of the most vilest and evil characters you'll ever see. I think he's probably one of the best villains I have seen in a film in a long time. He is evil, just pure evil. And the more the narrative goes forward, the more you understand why he's like this, the more you understand where he's coming from. And I'm not saying that it's justified, but I'm saying that you kind of understand. They really build this character so that you get to the root cause of evil, and the film is about that. It's about the root of evil. Where does evil come from? On the other hand, you have Kelson, who has a completely different ideology about these things, and he wants to cure, and he's a little bit more hopeful in this one. He really wants to use his skills to find a cure. That's his arc in this film. And the kind of bond that he makes with Samson, this kind of zombie that he is slightly experimenting on with all these medications is honestly quite beautiful. It starts out very absurd. I was not really sure if I liked where this was going, but once you see what it's, trying to do, it is quite beautiful in the way it all comes together. And there was one scene between them, which is again a very silent, very calm scene, which completely floored me. I think it's probably my favorite sequence in the film. I was watching it in shock. Not shock about what happens in the moment, but shock that, the writer Alex Garland and Danny Boyle, who's involved, and Nia DaCosta, the director, all of whom do incredible, work on the film, are able to find something so original and unique in this genre. Like this genre where we've seen every single kind of zombie film. I just don't remember the last time I felt like they have actually found something this original in the zombie genre. And I was literally floored by the ideas, by the different kinds of philosophies that the film tries to discuss. It was very unique and interesting, to say the least, and that one scene really floored me. And I just love films that make you think long time after the credits roll, and this is definitely one of them. And also this film has an incredible climax. I mean, this is exactly how you have a slow building film reach to its conclusion. I loved that. It was like a cinematic concert going on. Like, it was so good, visually incredible, but more than that, Ralph Fiennes' performance in this one, especially that climax, is astounding. It is astounding. Now, I do not know if a film like this can get nominated for Oscars, and if it does, will Ralph Fiennes be nominated? I don't know, but I think that man needs to have an Oscar. He is incredible here, and not just here, throughout his career, he's been giving out incredible performances left, right, and center. And this feels like that performance which defines the person, defines Ralph Fiennes. It disappears into the role of Kelson. There's some standout moments for that character, and the way he's able to say these dialogues as a matter of fact. Like he's a very outspoken person in the film, right? Like in the Kelson, he just talks about things as a matter of fact, and the way he says it is hilarious. And also in the subtle moments of just showcasing emotion, he never overdoes it. Like, it's very subtle and very normal, like a person would react, and I love that about him. Ralph Fiennes is astounding in this one. His phenomenal acting performance. Alfie Williams, the kid, also does a great job. He had more screen time in the first film, but I think regardless of that, I think he does a great job in the scenes that he has. Jack O'Connell, I've already talked about. He was terrifyingly good. All of the acting is amazing. It's primarily these three characters that the film kind of really focuses on, and I love this film. I honestly loved it. I think this is the kind of film we need from genres that have been done so many times before. With this new trilogy of 28 years, I think Danny Boyle and Alex Garland are really doing it, really breathing fresh air into this genre that has been done so many times. I love that about it. It's a very human film. It also talks a lot about I think the basic concept of these 28 films is also the fact how humanity is humanity's worst enemy, and that is really brought out wonderfully in this film. In a world where zombies actually exist, I am talking about a villain, a human who is more evil than them. So I think that really is the point of the film. It's quite dark, but there's also tad bit of hope in there. There's tad bit of humanity. It never loses on to that core emotion, and that's what I love about it. And I'm very much looking forward to the final chapter of the film, and there is one amazing cameo towards the end. If you watch these films, then you know what I'm talking about, but I'm not going to reveal it. But I was so happy with this cameo, and I love where the franchise is going right now. I would love to see the third part as soon as possible, but if the third part turns out to be just as good as these two films, then I think we have a great new trilogy in our hands. But I'm very, very excited to see where these themes go, to see where these characters go. And they've also been talking about how the third film is going to be about redemption. and in that sense I'm already really excited to see where all of it is. But yeah, this one was an amazing film. I had a lot of fun. Thank you for watching Flash Flick Reviews, a safe space for cinema nerds. Subscribe for more such content, and I'll see you again.